Another Republican politician busted for wearing blackface. You just want it so bad. Okay. Let's give you the video. Congressman apologizing on CNN. Yawn.
New York Times reports that Mike Lawler, dressed as Michael Jackson, when Lawler was 20 years old and a college student.
Obviously, I can't change what happened 18 years ago. But I certainly, with wisdom and age, understand that that is not something I would do today. And certainly understand why people would be upset or offended by it. And for that, I'm sorry. But, you know, for me, there was no ill intent. There was no effort to malign or make fun of or disparage Black Americans. It was really an effort to pay homage to somebody who was a musical idol for me. I've always loved Michael Jackson's music and his dance moves and his ability to entertain. This was really not, you know, what I think could truly be construed as blackface. But I certainly understand why people would be offended by it, and for that, I'm sorry.
Well, I heard him say I'm sorry 2 times, but it was all the filler words that made me want to just douse him with water. You know that show where a bucket of water would just come down on you and just douse you and you look crazy? That's what I think he deserved in that interview, was foolishness. Representative Mike Lawler out of New York apologizing on CNN for wearing blackface. It was blackface. Representative. Halloween party. He claimed the stunt was an attempt to pay homage to Michael Jackson. We got to talk about that. After Kaitlan Collins asked, do you ever think it's okay for a white person to put on blackface? Lawler replied, no, of course not. And in this instance, you know, as I said to the New York Times, you know, I had used a friend's bronzer. But again, obviously 18 years later, excuse, I certainly reflect upon and understand how that can be construed, he argued. But I think there is a stark difference between dressing up for Halloween and paying homage to somebody you like, respect, versus dressing up in blackface to demean and dehumanize Black people, which is what minstrel shows in blackface historically was about. That's obviously not what I was doing there. Lawler's credit, Lawler's apology was a lot better than that of Counselor Ian Ward's. I think they both stink. Who dressed up, well, he claimed it's 50 Cent. 50 Cent ain't never looked like that. Okay. And he's a New York fan. So what is you talking about? Just look at the both of them, and they should be forever linked. Here's what Ward said to defend himself. Ward has been outspoken in his support of Israel since the October 7 Hamas attack last year, and in one deleted apology, he pointed the finger at anti-Semitic, anti-law enforcement, leftist extremists led by a local failed musician. After stating he reported the alleged hack to police, he launched into an apology, admitting the photo was, quote, embarrassing. I offer no defense other than to say that times change, people change. Blah, 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 nothing to see here. Well, I added the blah, blah, blah part before I throw it to you, Jayar. Our Blackness, I heard a commentator say this because I was kind of just minding my own business. TV was on in the background and this story came up. And I agree with the commentator. First, I was thinking, well, just a dummy. He was a young person, dummy, all these years ago.
Yeah.
Until the commentator said, my Blackness is not a costume, and you put thought into this. And then he goes on to say, ill intent, none, you know, paying homage. Who says that intent has to be part of this infraction? Maybe you just don't have good judgment. Maybe you do, maybe you've learned. But because I found the apology so disgraceful, he had so many yeah, but, comma, semicolon in there. I don't think he's sorry at all. I'm sick of him. And even if it was a mistake, sometimes you got to pay for mistakes. And I'm just getting a little tired of this. Okay, Megyn Kelly said it's okay, Jayar. It's not.
Yeah, come on. Okay. By the way, I felt a little more lenient on Lisa, not our guy that thinks that's 50 Cent. From Lawler, like I haven't agreed much of anything that Mike Lawler says. But there comes a point, I would think. This is for our lack of education about what our country actually was, and has been through. So if you don't know why throwing on some black makeup and saying you're a black guy is a problem, especially because of course, obviously Halloween's coming, You know, people used to dress up as geishas and samurais and all that stuff, and then they'll put on makeup or maybe wear they think it's a costume, and there's offensiveness there too. Native American folks, indigenous folks,
Thank you.
and that all happens. We have a distinct, direct history with minstrel shows in this country and how people made money off the backs of the existence of Black folks to make fun of. And this is the main part about this. Make other folks who had never met, encountered a Black person think this is how they act. And that leads to disruptive behavior, violent behavior, lack of opportunity, since we're the land of opportunity. All those things are born off of what they saw as a comical show to demean an entire group of people that had been enslaved in this country. So if that's been the legacy of it, you might want to cut it off. That's the main purpose. Not because we don't want you to dress up like Michael Jackson and 50 Cent, but because you don't understand what it is that you're generating, what kind of energy you're celebrating. That's what it is. And if you did it when you were 20 and now you figured it out, okay, just say that. That's all. That's all, because we know Mike Lawler's not going to get kicked out of Congress. We know this other guys, they never go anywhere. In fact, sometimes they get promoted based off of it. So we know that's not going to happen. But if you actually care, just give that bit of understanding. And if you don't know, like Megyn Kelly said she didn't know, there's this weird thing you can do. Listen to the people that said, yo, this is offensive. This is why you shouldn't do it. Instead of going, oh, nah.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
why.
double down on it.
That's
and
all.
guess what? There's certain things and lessons you do need to know. I see people putting swastikas and being really disgusting and dressing up like Hitler. But I believe they know better. Okay? It's wrong. It's sick. Why would you dress up like that? Why would you put this symbol of hate out there? This is not okay. And I think I would be easier on the representative if he would have just come on the screen and said, I am disgusted that was what I did 18 years ago. There's no excuse for it. Blackness is not a costume. Next question. What could you really say? Just leave it at that. Instead of all this, yeah, but why are you doing that? You're paying homage to Michael Jackson? You didn't do that. You beat it.